I guess. We're just going to wing it.
Yeah, wing it. Go for it. All right.
I'm so happy you're here today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be back. I know we were here a few months ago and got to see your center, and it's a beautiful place that you have here.
Thank you. I wanted to have you in for Lyme Awareness Month. My heart is so grateful to doctors like you that understand what we go through, and it's a very hard road for us. And to have someone in the medical field that has sort of transitioned their path to dedicate that to the need that we have in our Lyme community, my heart is just so grateful. And I just think you're such an amazing doctor in person. So I just want to share, your journey and what made you pivot, your career as a doctor.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I was probably just about as ignorant as most about Lyme disease going through my general training in terms of medical school and residency. And it wasn't until COVID actually that, I think first I began to see some things there that I saw that were of concern in terms of how things were being addressed and managed. And that put me on a path to meet one of the greatest Lyme physicians in the region here, Dr. Hartman. And through meeting her, I basically was thrust into this world, right, of Lyme, because that's been something that she had dealt with for 15, 20 years. Basically, half of her practice was, not solely, but almost solely dedicated to that population. And so one thing led to another. I got really impressed with her and really inspired by her.
Yeah.
Especially her heart, right?
She's
to really
amazing.
see
She's
people
just incredible.
heal and not just keep giving them prescriptions, for instance, right? And I remember asking her, "Can you just give me some books to read on this? It's all, et cetera." And one of those was, a book by Stephen Phillips, right? On Lyme. And so that was kind of the beginning. So we're really talking about 5 years ago or so. And until then, the first several years of my career were in geriatrics, right? And now I think back and I'm thinking, how many of those patients who had a lot of challenges over and over again would we have picked things up if we had done proper testing? So, but now that's water under the bridge. But from there, I began to learn a lot more, began to be really impressed. Actually saw a lot of parallels between COVID and Lyme, and how people have long issues, right? And so then long COVID became a thing, but before that. So, and interestingly enough, I had a sick wife at home in many different ways over the years. And one of the things that also became very clear that this was part of my path, destiny-wise, was that we tested her and saw that she had 3 strains of Borrelia and a Bartonella strain as well. And so beginning to put things together for ourselves as a family, but also then for others, just became part of my mission.
Second nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I feel the same way. I'm just very passionate. I would do anything to help anybody lost in the Lyme world or trying to figure out what's wrong with them and being failed, from doctor after doctor, getting pushed around and having no answers. It's really scary.
It is, and I think one of the things that it's difficult, right? It's a complex world out there. Our body's a universe, and so there's a lot of moving parts. But I think there's essentially 2 kinds of doctors right now in the world. Ones who are satisfied with the status quo, right? It serves them well, and they're satisfied with it. Others who are trying to find root causes for issues. And I'm okay to be unsettled looking for those root causes. And unfortunately, Lyme and several co-infections that may happen together or at different times, but still they are tick-borne, and other insects as well, etc., other vectors, they they do serve as root causes
They do.
of inflammation, chronic inflammation, autoimmune conditions, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, it's just so nobody knows about it, you know, and I feel like we are getting to a point where people are starting to wake up, but just so thankful. I mean, I'm tearing up because when you have Lyme disease and nobody believes you and you get the door slammed in you and you're in so much pain, it's so hard and it's so traumatic, PTSD wise, you know, and you feel crazy, but we're not crazy. It's real. It's real.
That's right. I was thinking about this morning that our job as a physician is not to try to prove the patient's subjective symptoms wrong.
Yeah.
Our job is to believe them, listen to them, just really be taken to where the logical conclusion of all those things are. If we can't find any particular reason or derangement, which usually, again, it's our ignorance, right? We're still learning. There's new labs all the time, et cetera, et cetera.
You're a human being,
right?
You know.
But we have to start from the standpoint of the patient is coming to us not just because they have nothing else to do, or because they're trying to get some sort of a disability paperwork. That kind of bias has been a toxin in the system, and I hear you, and I mean you have your personal story, but I'm thinking of so many patients who have been scarred, and that's led them to sometimes have a total mistrust of anybody that has two letters after their name, and that also may not serve them well either long term.
It's tough. It's a tough battle.
It is.
But finding the right treatment, the right people, it really does make the difference. And once you realize that, when you know you have Lyme, you have to change the way you think. Yeah, you do have to change the way you trust. You have to, you can't go to an infectious disease doctor because you're not going to get help. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, that is a very painful realization, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because even when the criteria is met per the CDC criteria, which is a stringent criteria and it oftentimes rests on flawed labs. Yeah. But even when that is met, I've had several patients say that the infectious disease said, well, it's a false positive.
I know.
So it's like you can't win.
I think you and I both, and we can talk about this too, there's two bands of antibody bands that are left out on, Quest and LabCorp tests for the Western blot for Lyme. And they're the two most important, dissection of that Borrelia spirochete. So, of course,
it's a rigged system. Yeah,
it's rigged.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think it's that there were a group of people who thought that it was better to keep things going despite all the confusion, all the things, and people are finding things out for themselves quite a bit these days. Yeah. More than maybe in the 70s, 80s. Sure. But they rather just let that go, as opposed to some people taking responsibility for some of the issues that happened with the way that some of those decisions were made, etc., and coming clean and saying, hey, I'm sorry. I mean, they apologize for certain things, but usually it takes a long time, right? Yeah. Think of the Tuskegee experiment. That was 7 years later that I think Bill Clinton apologized for that. That's unacceptable, right? Yeah. For generations to have to go through things that are preventable or treatable.
Yeah, I grew up in Suffolk County, New York. I lived 20 minutes from Plum Island. I was born in 1980. Wow. Found out my mom had Lyme, so I may be a Lyme baby. I don't know. Dr. Hartman said maybe I got it around 7, but she wasn't sure. Yeah. So it's, unfortunately I have the novel version.
Right. Yeah.
I had like Babesia, everything, like 3 or 4 treatments, because Babesia was just rampant in my body more than anything. So
yeah. And I was at the Lyme conference, the ILADS conference in November in Texas. It was a great conference. They did a great job. And one of the statements that Dr. Tanya Dempsey, who's one of my favorite physicians in the world, she said, as she was going through this very complex case, I mean, she followed this patient for years and you know, such a good case, but there was a little statement that she made there that was striking. She said, you know, because back then, and I mean, we're talking about 10 years ago, back then, we didn't have a lot more tools to help these people, right? Mm-hmm. So it was basically a whole bunch of rotations of antibiotics and different things, et cetera, et cetera. But there was a sense in which you kind of have a little bit of a circuitous thing where you keep kind of going back and around and around and around. And one of the things that I know that's a lot of what we talked about also the first time we met was how you were touched by, really transformed by SOT, right?
Yes, yes.
And so that was one of the things that they actually put a big highlight on, which has really brought a lot of hope to a lot of the community.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, around the world, not just here. It's all over Europe, right? They have so many centers that do that there. And that was one of the tools that she was mentioning. And then even since then as well, in the last just 8 months, we've learned about TrueDose, which is a systemic therapy that's platelet-rich plasma. So it's people's own platelets that are concentrated and then infused back into them in certain proportions based on their condition. It could be Lyme, it could be chronic fatigue. It's something that is going to go into the body and look for things to heal and to fix. And the numbers of people that we have already seen, we've only done this for 3 months. And the numbers of people that have had symptoms that were almost like pet symptoms, right? Like chronic fatigue for 10, 20 years that are getting better, neuropathy, all sorts of things. It's amazing. So we now have better tools.
We do.
Because I still see every day on Instagram, I know you're there too, there's always in the comments, there's some hopeless comment from someone.
Yeah.
And that is such a devastating
Everybody
thing to
has
see.
their own path, their own treatment, and it's constantly evolving for the better, right? So being open-minded and just kind of staying up with changes in time and you know, kind of looking at the science behind it, right? Like,
That's right.
It's TrueDose, right?
TrueDose,
it makes sense to me, right? Like, you know, healing the cells to combat.
And it certainly is a non-toxic thing, right? That's allowing your body to do something that it's never quite had the chance to do it in that way and nudge the immune system. So it is making sense to a lot of people too, which is cool.
Yeah.
But man, would I like, you know, to see that some of these people who are thinking that there's nothing else.
I know.
You know, or they're in some groups and they're just
or
hearing
not
a lot of
understanding,
negativity.
like for instance with SOT, you know, I've had 7, right? So with my SOT, it's like Lyme was first. I chose not to do more than 1 because I didn't think my body could handle it, even though my doctor was like, no, you could do, you know, Bartonella and all. I'm like, no, let me start out slow.
You press on the brakes first,
Because I know myself, you know,
wise.
I'm very in touch with my body. So I did that, felt great, came out of a wheelchair, came out of being bedbound, like walking in a month.
I know.
And then another 2 weeks go by and boom, Bartonella came out. Different pain, different symptoms than Lyme. Not as much fatigue, not as much inability to move. Like I had the movement part. It was more of like a deep down like bone pain. Then I got the SOT for that.
Right, you
knocked
one down, the other kind of got a little bit of territory that it could...
Yeah. So I think that Lyme patients are so hopeless and lost, and they think that SOT is not working, or antibiotics aren't working, or supplements aren't working. That's not what it is. It's like peeling an onion.
And it's, the die-off toxicity.
Sure.
How are we really mobilizing that through our bodies?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they feel it, and it's horrible.
It is.
But
it is.
they might not yet necessarily be supporting their bodies to really detoxify.
You have to. And when you have MTHFR like me, and you have a couple strands, you're clogged. So doing your full-time job when you're treating is detoxing. So for me, my body liked Epsom salt bath. Next day it was infrared sauna, then Epsom salt bath. Now, it took me a really long time to work up to that.
Really?
Yeah, Dr. Hartman helped me kind of ease into it because I would put my feet in the Epsom salt at first and I'd be out for days with like it knocked me out. But my body was so toxic.
Wow.
You know? So, yeah.
Well, I told you, Jessica, and I love your passion. I mean, everything that you do, especially thinking of the pediatric population, right, that you deal with so much. It's interesting, you know, I started working as a geriatrician, right? Although when
I mean, I could see that, though.
Yeah, but when I went into medical school, I thought I was going to be a pediatrician until I had those really sick kids in the ER, and I was like, maybe I'm not. This is not for me, right? It was just too much crying. You know?
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was rough for me. But so anyway, so I kind of pivoted all the way, and now I am also kind of having more and more of a heart to see changes in the pediatric population because I see that if we don't get some of these inflammatory conditions that might be even spilling over into the brain, etc., the leaky gut syndromes, if we don't get these things resolved now, it's going to set a trajectory for their lives, their productivity, their ability to do. Yeah,
you know, I mean, it goes hand in hand with, you know, imbalances in the brain and all these disorders that were thrown out there in the 90s, right? It comes down to how those pathologies can affect brain development, and that causes imbalances in certain sections of the brain. And then we have huge disconnections, and then we see these symptoms and these behaviors and all these labels, but it really needs to come down to the root of why, right? Like my son Dylan, that's why I'm here today. That's why I own Brain Balance, because we went through it. I did Brain Balance. It helped to turn his life around. It was amazing. Obviously, that's why I'm here. But later I found out that the reason he was that way, and the reason why I was on bed rest, and the reason why I had preeclampsia and all of those things was because I found out he had Lyme disease, and he got it from me. And he was great for years, and still is 8 years later. But guess what? Those migraines never went away. We're not talking about your regular migraine. We're talking about vicious pain, throwing up. No doctor could help him. No medicine could help this kid since he was 3.5. Wow. And I did one SOT for him. Gone.
Oh my gosh.
Gone.
So again, I told you, and so now this is for the public, that remember, I try very hard to investigate the things that I'm investigating, and I don't want to just add something to the repertoire that we're going to do if I'm not fully convinced and compelled, right? And so it took not only the formal learning, you know, through the RGCC test to kind of learn about it and be able to do it, plus it took the workshop that iLads was sponsoring in November, but ultimately the clincher was your story, right? Because this is, if we could have, and we know that we're not going to be able to have the same impact, right? You had an amazing response, but that's how we have to work back, is we are going to try to get people the best, knowing that sometimes we're not going to get quite the same results because there's individuality.
Everybody's different.
But we have to try to give them the best. And so seeing your story, and like, don't you want to see that over and over again?
Yes.
Then you have to
Every
offer
day
this.
I do.
Yeah.
Every day. I mean, people I don't even know, hey, you're that girl with Lyme. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm here for you. I know you don't know me, but my heart goes to you.
Yeah.
And I had somebody like that. Her name's Ryan, actually, and she's your patient. But she referred me to Dr. Hartman, and I knew her husband from high school, and she was my Lyme angel. Like, she saw me on Facebook struggling, and a friend of a friend was like, hey, Ryan knows a lot about this. And that's what we do, us Lymies. We lean on each other, we help each other because we know we're all each other has.
It becomes like a family, right? It is a community. we do have several patients who are I mean, I didn't have this before in my former practice, where patients routinely will say, hey, if someone needs someone to talk to, let me know.
Yeah.
You know, if they want to kind of get more information about this,
Yeah.
they're very free and willing to just be vulnerable and to share their story and to, you know, to come alongside. That's the advocacy that we see with the patients, formally or informally. That's inspirational also. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you go through something like this personally, you really get an oomph inside of you and a drive and just a path forward. And for me, I put all my energy of healing into helping others. Because that's just me, you know. But you have to find what makes you move forward with this disease, because a lot of people go the other way and get very depressed. And I mean, a lot of Lymies commit suicide, you know, and it breaks my heart. But there is hope. There is a way, and there are new technologies and things that people can do.
That's correct. Yeah, I think if people understand that there is now a cumulative experience that is being built on top of other generations that have come before us, right? Because unfortunately, right now, some of the pioneers in the Lyme world, they're passing.
I know.
Right? So if people understand that it's not like we've gotten stuck and frozen in time, right? As there's some orphan conditions that are like that, nothing has really moved. It's not the case with Lyme.
Yeah.
Or you know, the co-infections, etc. And so there's quite a bit there. Sometimes so much information that it can be overwhelming. And so
I love it.
Yeah, even to just have a place that will believe you, will walk
enough.
with you, will have done some of the pre-work in vetting some of those things, right? And we can talk about those things.
Yeah.
Even that could be helpful, right, for some, because some are quite independent. I mean, you have some patients who are really independent. They are researchers. Last week I just kind of was working, and I just uttered this thing to my kids, say, gosh, I love my patients, because they're so good.
We're an acquired taste.
They research a lot, and I'm telling you, they're bringing things to me all the time that are pretty innovative. Yeah. Right? And that forces me to be on the top of my game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, we really appreciate doctors like you. I mean, it's just unheard of.
Well, it's fun. It's fun to partner with people who are genuinely interested in getting better, and we're going to say, look, I don't know it all. You don't either, but let's put
figure this
all
out.
of your stuff, right? Because a lot of it, we depend on the patient listening to their body. Mm-hmm. If the patient is not willing to journal, not willing to give us, then we're a little bit kind of going like this too.
Sure.
Right? A lot of it is listening to their body, so that we can understand, okay, if we did this and this helped, or this caused perhaps a hurt, okay, this is where we're going. Mm-hmm. This is why, you know? Mm-hmm. But
you do. You have to be open-minded and pivot. You do. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. It keeps us busy for sure, but also keeps us young.
I guess. I mean, I feel like a million years old by this point after what I went through. I'm like, I got nothing when I turn 80, because I've already been in a wheelchair and I've already not been able to walk. So.
Yeah, aging will be you'll be reverse aging.
It will be a breeze for me. What documentaries and things like that would you recommend? I mean, I have my favorites just to create awareness, you know, for people to tune in. But what are your favorites?
You know, there's a few, but I think, again, just a disclaimer that people have to know where they're at emotionally, because some of those it could be
shut them down.
It could be but from an informational standpoint, I think the hidden or the quiet epidemic
wonderful.
Was really well done. I mean, probably one of the best, you know, cinematographic, right, one. Yeah. Was really well done. And also alluded to some of the cutting edge work that was going on in the research world from Dr. Spector. So
I
thought
love
that
him so much.
I'm
still heartbroken.
Yeah, that was an excellent production, and I think it got out a lot. I think there was one also called Bitten, that was a book.
Under Our Skin.
Under Our Skin,
Yeah.
that was, right?
Yeah.
That was really well done too,
Yeah.
much longer ago, but
Yeah.
really well
That's
done
my
as well.
favorite one.
Yeah.
That was my first exposure. And after that, my life changed. So that was a pivotal moment for me, was that documentary.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting era that we're living in now with social media, right? Because one
Yeah.
thing pulls another,
Yeah.
and whatever resource, it doesn't stay there. I
Mm-hmm.
think way back when I was a little kid, you had to literally be introduced to someone in order to really kind of understand a different world. Now,
Yeah.
one thing leads to another, and now you could literally have some of the top minds in a particular subject giving really good information, all even on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. It's really interesting where we are. So I actually like it. I think it can also draw some confusions in people, but
Yeah.
I think it's pretty exciting you
Yeah.
know, that these things are going at the speed of light.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited you came and
My
to
pleasure.
raise awareness for May.
Absolutely. Yeah. My pleasure.
It's my favorite month out of the year.